So for part 5 on worksheet 1 of unit 3, I've created my square, and then I filleted each of the corners with a radius of 6. I did this in the 2D, but you could also just make it a square, extrude it, and then 3D fillet the corners. Next, I'm going to be drawing the ellipse in the middle, and so to do that, first I went 25 in from the corner and then 25 up so I could find the center of the ellipse. And then in Fusion, I'm going to go into the Create menu, drop down, click Ellipse, and I'm going to put the center right where the center is. And what I need to do is I have to define 2 of the axes. So side to side, it shows that this ellipse is 15 to one side, or 30 across. And so I'm going to type 30 and press Tab, but I'm not going to press Enter. I'm just going to click, because then I have to click the other axis, which is up and down. And so for this one, I want it to be 12 up and 12 down, so a total of 24. And again, I'm not going to press Enter, I'm going to click. And so here is the ellipse that we need. Next, we need the notch at the top, which is 16.75 upwards, and then we're going to go 3 to each side because it's a total of 6. And then we can drop these lines down until they hit the ellipse, anywhere that they hit the ellipse. And now we are ready to extrude. So when we click extrude, it'd be good to be in the home view. And we're going to choose the region outside of the ellipse and outside of that notch. And then the distance that it needs to be extruded is just 5 to give it some depth. And now what we're going to do is we're going to move to the top right picture, which it has all of those holes. Before we do that, though, we should make some points as to where those holes are going to go. So I'm going to create a sketch, and then I'm going to make some rectangles that are 10 by 10 on each of the corners. And the reason that I'm doing this is because there's one circle centered at this corner, and then there's one circle at this corner and at this corner. And so if we make these rectangles, we'll be able to find out where all of the holes are in our next step. So we could do this with circles. Maybe I'll do the bottom ones with circles here. The circles have a radius of, or a diameter of 5, excuse me. So I'll make these bottom ones all circles. And we can use the hole tool for the top ones. You can use the same tool for all of them, whichever one you feel most confident using. So I'm going to extrude it and then I'm going to unextrude it because we actually need this sketch to stay for finding the centers of the holes. So this is what it would look like. So if we cut it out and accept the extrusion, then we'll have those holes and those notches on the outside edge cut through. I'm actually going to go backwards to before I do that extrusion, and I'm going to, okay, the sketch is still here. So I'm going to use the hole tool, and when I do that, I should be able to see the sketch so that we can actually map out where the different holes are going to end up. So I'm going to grab the hole tool and I'm going to click all of those points that I said before. Now this hole from the last time I used it is much too large. And so what we're going to do is downsize that in a moment. So for the diameter, all of these holes should have a diameter of 5. And then we want them to go all the way through the shape. And the point doesn't matter. Okay, so now that we have this is the shape in the top right of our drawing. The last thing we have to do is fillet the edges. And the edges that we're going to fillet are all going to be the same radius of 6. But we want to do this carefully. We want to make sure that we're looking at the correct edges. So we can start with both of these edges here. And you can see how that curves up together. We're going to leave this one sharp, and we might need to turn the shape so we can see, make sure that we're selecting the right edge. And so on each edge, we're going to leave just one sharp one. Again, I'll have to turn. When I'm talking sharp, I mean this one's left sharp, this one's left sharp. When I type in 6, that will become more apparent. So I did 3 out of the 4. And then what we can see is, just one sharp edge on each corner. And everything else smooth it out to 6. We can then accept it, and we'll be done with part 5.